Today we're going to be tying a fly that I created. It's inspired by the Notorious Conor McGregor, and fittingly so, as the name the Notorious Baetis. This has green on one side, orange on the other, white center and underbody. It's got 2 tails and 10 legs, giving it a proper 12 appendages. Really great winter Baetis pattern, all around solid, flashy, just whenever the fish are looking for something else. Materials today, we're going to be using Semperfli Nanosilk. This is the white color. We're going to be using some UTC monofilament in black. We're going to go ahead and use some UV resin. This is Deer Creek Diamond Fine. For flash, Uni Mylar. This is Peacock Green and Orange. And the hook is going to be a Firehole 718 in size 20. I tie these from 20 to 24. Tail trick, me and my dad have worked with for a while, is a paintbrush. You can typically just get to a local hardware store and pick one out and choose them. So we're going to go ahead and start the thread just behind the eye, taking a couple thread wraps back and then back towards the eye. Snip that off. Go ahead and grab our 2 tail fibers. I like these to be just about a hook gap in length. I'm gonna spin this a little bit so it jumps rearward. Catches that. Make sure to see it on top of the hook. We can check the length now. Go ahead and pull it to just about where we want it. And pull it a little bit too far. I like it right about right there. If I take more of an oval thread wrap, meaning I'm tightening here and here, I can really lock these fibers in on top of the hook shank, which makes it a little easier for tying on tails. Advance our thread back up to just behind the eye. Once again, I give it a little counterclockwise spin. I do tend to spin my thread quite a bit when I tie flies just to keep everything nice and thin. I'm going to tie in some monofilament here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this to length. And attach it in on top of the shank, but closer to me. You can see that thread really lay flat right there. Once again, advance our thread to just right behind the eye. I like to take thread wraps and come back up towards the eye, or tie in a material and come back towards the eye, just so that the whole body remains flat and consistent. So now we're going to tie in our first piece of flash. By doing this, I just capture it, and I'm going to take it to one side. So this is going to lay down green going back, but when I pull it forward, that's going to be my orange side. I'll show how that's going to work here in a sec. Come back up. Now I'm going to tie this in with the orange side facing out, effectively being my green side. So I'm going to lay these on the side of the shank. Going backwards and coming back up. Flatten the thread out a little bit as we come back. The other thing I've noticed with flattening your thread is if you flatten your thread at the rear of the hook and the thread kind of makes contact with the hook and almost just kind of flattens out, kind of like this. It flattens out really, really quick. So we're going to go ahead and lay a couple whip finishes right here. I'm going to remove this thread. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and reach for our monofilament. And at this point, pull both of these both of this flash to the sides of the hook. And I'm going to make just one wrap to the back over here. Now this is kind of the tricky part, but we're just going to switch hands. And just rib this fly up. Working with monofilament is something for sure to get used to, but there's some cool tricks that we can do with it. And I'll show you one of them here in just a sec. Makes a great durable rib though. So now that I have my body ribbed, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and just pull on it a little bit on each side so I can make sure it lays to each side of the shank really nice and neat. So I'm going to pull these guys up and then make a really quick whip finish right here. Just remove this. Once again, I'll make one quick check to make sure everything's in place. I like it right about right there. Everything is sitting really well. Go ahead and grab some of the UV resin, the diamond fine, and we're just going to go ahead and apply this all throughout the body just to make it a little more durable. That monofilament will protect the flash really well, but it's always good just to ensure that we're covered. I'm going to let that sit for just a second, just so it kind of sinks into the thread wraps. I'm just going to pinch on the sides, maybe a little touch on the top. It's going to give it a really cool rib, kind of sink down into the thread wraps. Hit that with the UV light, cure it all the way around. Now we're going to go ahead and grab the white Nanosilk again. Start this back on the thread, on the body. Reach up, cut that off. Now this is a new product from Semperfli. This is actually the cashmere monkey hair. It's a great wing case and leg material. Just gonna click this. I really like how flat it is and untwisted. I think it makes just a great leg and thorax material. So we're going to go ahead and just take the thread a little bit to the rear of the hook, come to the front. We are going to have to do a little bit of thread work right here. The whole thorax of this fly is all thread. So I just go ahead and clean up, make a nice white base of thread. You can see how still this Nanosilk is laying nice and flat. Maybe quarter it up just a little bit. Or uncord it, sorry. And that's going to do it for our thorax right about right there. Okay, so now with the 10 strands of monkey hair, go ahead and just capture them on top of the hook shank. A few nice tight wraps. We're going to split this group of 10 into 5 on each side. So I got 5 right here. Gonna make collecting wrap on this side, collecting wrap on that side. And then now for the head of the fly, we're just gonna do about a 5-turn whip finish. And then I'm gonna go 1, scoot it right there. Get a little yank back. Remove our thread. So now we have a great splayed tail, or splayed leg material. Stick to either side of the hook. We're going to grab a black Bic marker and just coat the top of this fly. Reach back in, grab some more of that UV resin. Gonna pull these tails, or these legs down. I keep calling them tails. And I like to use my vise as a guide for how I want them. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just apply a little bit to the top of the wing case. I'm gonna smooth it out. Just lay it right about where I want it. Don't want to build up too much bulk, but just cover it and help ensure its durability. Okay, so now with my Baetis patterns, I like to once again use the vise and cut from an angle this way instead of laying my scissors like this. So let me go ahead and grab this, a nice clump, cut right at the hook point so that my legs stay underneath the fly. That's just how I like to do it. Reach in here, use my thumb to pry up these tails and split them. Splay them out. And that is the Notorious Baetis. Very neat, flashy Baetis pattern. Works well in high water. And give it a try. Thank you for watching.